Hey guys, another week, another Woo intro. Obviously this is part 2 to last week's episode. So if you missed that, go ahead and go back and watch that part first, just in case you might miss some context from the conversation. But essentially in this part we continue talking about kind of Smash characters and then our experiences and why we picked up certain characters. That's basically the main premise of this week's episode. So hope you enjoy, and we'll see you next time. I liked it at Tea Party where they all showed up in fucking suits. That was so funny. Like, you had like Focus and all of like his friends all in suits cheering on all of their mates. Oh, that was funny.
It's funny enough you mentioned Joy-Con at 5 because I sat down with Joy-Con later that day and he was proper moaning. They were like, "Oh, these guys were cheering on here, boy," and like I had nobody, and it's like a -2 matchup, and like he would do like a standard Falco combo and get like 80%, and they'd be like, "Yes, he's so good," and he's like, "But I'm playing Donkey Kong." He's playing Falco.
Yeah, for me, I'm playing the low tier.
That's exactly what he said. He was like, "What are they cheering on me? I'm playing Donkey," and he's like. It was so funny.
Yeah.
He was,
Love it.
He was so funny about that. He was just so honest. I love Joy-Con. He's such a nice chap.
My friend, when it was Zone versus Wombat, I was cheering on Zone because Zone's from England, right? Like it's like Ireland is the invaders, right? So it's my friend was standing next to me. He's like he goes to uni with me and stuff, and he was like, "Yeah, Wombat's playing Donkey Kong, so I'm gonna go stand on the other side and cheer for Wombat." I'm like, no.
I'm not gonna lie, I was sat in the crowd like cheering on Wombat as well, bro. You're playing Donkey Kong, it's a Palutena, you gotta get the root for him.
No.
I mean,
the funny thing is, sorry to cut you off, but the funny thing is, Zone won the set, and he comes back, he goes like, "Yeah, I was here the entire time," and I was like, "Go to hell."
I mean, you've got to cheer on Donkey Kong. It's against Palu.
I don't get it. The character grabs you and you die. Like
Donkey Kong's so funny, I love Donkey Kong.
No, I'm at 100%. I either have to mash so hard that my controller breaks, so I actually have to make a financial decision in the middle of the game, right? Yeah, no, I either have to mash or that my controller breaks, or I have to just lose the stock. And you're telling me I have to choose between £50 and going into the next round?
Hang on. Is that because you use a pro controller?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's your problem then, isn't it?
My GameCube controller was designed for little kids to beat up.
Okay, I've tried GameCube controller. It just hurts my hands. I can't.
No, I understand that. They're literally
invincible.
not the most ergonomic controllers. They do hurt your hands if you use them for too long.
Yeah, so
they are just built to last though. Those things are like indestructible. I swear.
To be fair, I've had my pro controller for 2 years, like, and there's nothing wrong with it. I've got like no drift, no snapback and stuff. But it's because I don't mash. It's because I don't mash.
You rolled the lottery if you haven't got drift on your Procon.
I do not mash. In friendlies, I do not mash at all. I am like the only way I mash, I just press A.
I forced my local to
try
mash,
hard.
bro.
I'll be playing against Tom in friendlies and I'll be SDIing as Jab, bro. I'm such a swear.
Don't talk to me about SDI because I was about to play Owl. I was about to play Owl round 2 of Invasion, and I was like, okay, Owl can play 200 different characters. There are 80 in the game, but he can somehow play 200. Don't ask me. But so I go up. I see Bloom sitting in the chair about to watch the set. So I go to Bloom. I'm like, Bloom, I play Moth. How do I SDI Bayo combos? Because I get Owl thing, and by the way, before Invasion, I never SDI'd a single thing because I was just like, at that point, just kill me, man. I don't care enough. Just kill me. Just take the stock. You deserve it. I'm not doing all of that. Just kill me. But I was like, you know what? I don't want to die at like 0 every fucking stock. So let me try SDI. He goes Banjo, stupid neutral B, whatever. I don't want to hear it. But I played there's a Bayo in my region in Abacus, and Bloom told me up and away, which is what's supposed to be the general consensus, but it's like, and I'm DIing up and away, and I'm dying off the top, and I never used to SDI, and I never used to die off the top, so I was like, what the hell is happening?
He followed your SDI.
Abacus told me that it's supposed to be down and away, so
Bloom trolled
me. He's just He's sabotaging me, man. Like, the guy's number 1 UK, top 20 in the world.
It's not always down and away though. That's
yeah,
the thing.
it's Bayo SDI changes
Because
based
the
on
thing
the
is, you
combat
can
routes he
you can
uses.
just follow any SDI, so you have to keep switching it. It's horrible.
So from what Al told me, because I'm in the same boat, right? I SDI for my life on stream, and you can see me like frantically, like my facial expression. I'm going red, and I died anyway. And I was like, I think like 3 weeks after, I was like, okay, how do I SDI this? Because you were 145, I was at 0. I mashed it down on OA, DI, SDI. I was mashing, and it works on the Bayos on Elite. I can get out all of their combos, no problem. And then he was like, "Oh, if you're at like super high, if I'm at super high percents and you've got rage, you're supposed to do up and away.
Yep, because the knockback's too high.
The knockback, you get out because you're not hit too far. But if you're at like low percent and Bayo's at low percent, you're supposed to SDI down and away. And then so yeah, like down and away normally. It works on all the Bayos on Elite Special. I can do it all the time. Yeah, against Al though, sometimes you just die. Like Bloom did it to Azalea at one Monday Meltdown. He was at like 130%. Then Azalea was at 0. Just killed him. Just hit one side B. Whoop,
Yep.
dead.
Didn't swap the SDI in time. Dead.
That
Yep. That's how it goes.
Bayo is another cheater character. They tell you to SDI, and sometimes it just doesn't matter. So I'm just plugging.
They can also follow you SDI as well.
I'm just gonna blame Bloom sabotaging me. I lost like 2 locals.
I reckon he was like, didn't want to reveal the counterlay to his character, and so he was just like, yeah, I'll just tell him that. So when I come in bracket, he just goes around telling all the pro players.
Just tells everyone the wrong information. Obviously, free wins.
That's why he's number 1 UK.
Yeah, honestly, might be.
Deep-seated lies the whole time.
He is top 30 in the world just by spreading misinformation. Like that's
Yeah.
That character is fraud.
All I'll say is that I've forced my local to mash because we had 3 Inklings at the start of Ultimate in my local.
You can hear me mashing on stream, like literally hearing me hit the buttons through the mic.
Yeah.
And I missed the old days when you could actually mash out of Inkling Roller. You can't do it anymore because they made it last longer when you're at high percent. So like, I've got clips of me at like 120% on Donkey Kong mashing out and actually air dodging out the way of the smash attack. But now I'm at like 90% and I feel like I'm mashing harder than I've ever mashed in my entire life and I don't move. So...
Yeah, for people like yourself, Dante, that didn't play at the start. So originally, it was harder to get out of early, but easier to get out of late, and they switched it.
Basically, just like it kind of just it was just like standard grounding. So like it would be like the higher percent you are, obviously, the harder it's to get out. But then when they buffed Inkling later, they just added like an extra multiplier on top of you get hit by roller there. It takes even longer to get out of when you're at high percent. So now like if you see anyone a mash out of Inkling roller at 130%, they are literally a godlike masher, and it's actually insane. They're pressing like 300 buttons a second or something. It's absurd.
And also, that's not even taking into account if you're at like a stock deficit as well. That multiplier increases. So if Inklings are stock down, like, you could have just fresh killed her. You're at 130. If she grounds you, you have no hope. Like, just put down your controller. She could, like, taunt 3 times over, full charge of smash attack. You're not going anywhere.
I see.
Yeah. But luckily, the character doesn't exist anymore, so you're fine.
Yeah, well.
You know who does exist? Donkey Kong. Actually, Inklings are all over the UK. There's a billion of them.
Not anymore, there's not.
Oh, there. Oh, yeah.
Soul Shield.
Oh, yeah. There's loads of them in the UK. They're like, they're everywhere, man.
They're just not top players, so you don't think about them.
Yeah, I suppose so.
They exist in their local scene, and then when it comes to majors, it's just like they'll crawl out from under the woodwork, and you get like 16 Inkling players at like a big regional.
Yeah, and none of them ever make it onto stream because they all go 0-2 or 1-2.
Hey, it doesn't matter. They showed up.
A lot of the Joker players play Inkling, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Because the characters are quite similar. I have also dabbled in the dark arts of Joker.
A lot of Inklings. It's kind of the pipeline of Inkling players, right? You play Inkling, you get annoyed that you're not winning, and then you go left and you go to Joker, or you go right and you go play Pyramithra.
I have tried both.
That's how it works. It's one of the two.
That's
Everybody does the same.
It's like a two-stage Pokemon
or you're
evolution.
one of the special ones in the middle and you go play Corrin instead.
Just wait for it.
The Corrin's getting more popular now thanks to Shattuck.
That character's dumb too. Like,
Oh yeah.
60% side B. Like, I'm sorry. Like,
Don't forget about the Nair back air killing you at 80.
I don't care about a stupid kill confirm. All right, like whatever. Yeah, the fact that I'm just like they legit guess right on my timing. Like, and let's be real, it's a fucking guess. Yeah, there is no way I could do all the mix-ups in the world. They just react to some bullshit and guess right on some stupid 2-frame random mechanic.
Yeah.
And I'm dead at 60 for no, like, I have no hope, like actually none. I can't like escape the ledge and go higher than it because it's still gonna fucking hit me, and I'm now without a jump off stage. Yeah, good fuck. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like they just throw it out, and if it hits and they die, that's fine. I love it. And if they miss, okay, I'll just cancel it. And I'm
there was just there's no lag, yeah, so it doesn't matter.
I mean,
So stupid.
they buffed Pin so much.
Oh yeah,
They,
Pin's so
They
strong.
took away like all of the lag if you cancel it. They made jumping out of it quicker. They just buffed that move because she was terrible when the
Yeah,
game
they
came
just
out.
removed her counter in this game and put all the power into Pin instead.
They just gave it to Sephiroth instead.
It's crazy because
That was insane.
Pin was really good in Base Smash 4 as well.
Oh, Base Smash 4 Pin like one matchup. That was
And they were like, okay, we're gonna nerf this move, and they're like, oh wait, she's a bad character now. We'll just rebuff it again.
Oh man, nothing was as criminal as our counter in Smash 4. I just remember people just exploding off the top at 20%.
If you fully charged Ganon F Smash from both characters at 0 and you countered it, Ganon would die off the top every time. That move was so funny.
But her Pin though, made the Olimar matchup impossible. You just kick away, and if they weren't fast enough, like if your ground speed wasn't fast enough and Corrin just kicked away, you couldn't punish it. So she'd just run up, pin you. If you shielded, she'd kick away, and if you weren't fast enough, you couldn't punish her for it. And then she'd just do that all the time. Because like obviously if you're like Falcon, you can go and run up and kick them. But if you're like, I don't know, who's even got like a middling, like Mario, you could just run after her, she can just act in time. You just can't get there.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Before we move off cheater characters there, I remember me and Giggles were watching the finals, like, of Invasion, and he was just like, I think Siski was at like 180%, and Giggles was like, what other character has kill confirms at 200? It just made me laugh. I was like, yeah, that's so true. Like, Bayo just racks up all the damage, and her kill confirms are just crazy. Like, I was just like, yeah.
Yeah, the higher percent you get, her kill confirms get better. You can start just doing ABK into back air and killing instead.
Yeah.
Jab.
Jab's not a kill confirm. That's just jab.
I mean, you can technically you confirm jab 1 into rapid jab, technically, but
You do jab. You do forward. So you do forward air 1-2 into landing jab, because forward air itself is a mix-up because it's a 3-part move, and they're all like -7, -8 on shield, but she bounces, and then she can delay the timing of them. So if you like jab, she just forward air 1's your shield, and you think, "Oh, I'm gonna up smash." She could just like
jab 2, or
she could jab 2
forward air
and
2.
catch you, or she could just neutral air dodge and bats within you, so you've up smashed nothing. And then it's really ambiguous because she can hold back as well, and she can float backwards. That character's just insane from just everything. It's less her killing power and more just the fact that she's so hard to pin down in disadvantage. Like, she'll just do like a million specials. She's up in the sky and she's got like 4 landing mix-ups, and you've just got to guess which one she's gonna do. She can like fall down and do nothing, or she can air dodge and just proc back to within. She can witch time. She can down air, or she can just go to ledge and cancel everything.
And she's still worse than she was in Smash 4.
It's all just because she had so much in Smash 4 that even after she was nerfed this heavily, she still had all these tools. They did rebuff her to make her better, right? Let's not
Yeah, she
how bad
yeah, the character didn't work.
out, right? Like, And she's still like, she's really good, but she's still not like that good. She's just got a lot of tools.
I
like
think
this.
even to be like good at Bayonetta at like a mid-level is very easy. Like you can just pick up all the combos and learn up tilt back air, forward air 1-2, rapid jab. You're an easy 3 into a 4 into a easily.
Yeah, but then when top level play happens, so.
I similarly suck at Bayo, but like if you wanted to and put the effort in like no time, you could be doing really well.
Yeah, but then it's when you start dropping into the high level and top level players, you just won't win with those things. Like you'll just lose.
That's the hard part. But like, yeah, like she's she's not intuitive either. If you don't, I get how her moveset work. Like I can't play her at all. When I roll her on random, I'm just like.
Nah, she was still like a very cool addition to Smash 4. I still think she was very like when the character got announced, I was like, this is such a cool character to be added to the game. Especially whereas like I was a fan of the Bayonetta games, but it was just kind of a case of where she came out and we were like, oh, this is really cool, and then like when she first came out and she was doing all combos, oh okay, this is really cool, this is really like unique way to do combos and stuff. But then obviously after about 6, 7, 8 months of her just literally one-shotting every character in the game, the cool aspect kind of disappeared. But now wearing Ultimate, she doesn't just always zero def you every single time. And now she does like multiple different strings where she can shorten them and make untrue combos into things. She is a very cool character to watch, right? Like some of the unique stuff you see some of the Bayonettas do is really interesting. But
Cool
that's
so
why.
Subjective, though.
Huh?
Cool is so subjective. People think Donkey Kong is cool, and I'm like.
Donkey Kong is.
So from this podcast, I've learned that Dante is a hater.
The thing is, right, I really enjoy playing Smash because loads of the older players are like, oh, this game is so bullshit. But because I got the game so late, even though I just hate a lot of things, I don't think it's bullshit. You know, I just always think I got outplayed. Even Donkey Kong grabbing me at 100 just because like he just timed the neutral get up and I have no counterplay or I have to lose 50 pounds. Right? It's stupid. But the funny thing is that like, so loads of other players think that, like, loads of older players specifically think that, like, the game is a bunch of bullshit. I still quite enjoy that aspect. But the funny thing is my friend, Shonic, he always says this one line that is really funny whenever he says it. He just says, balanced like Sakurai intended. And that's the end of the conversation. Yep. And I just, yep. Anytime I get hit by some random horse shit, I'm just like, yep. Balanced
The
like
thing is,
Sakurai
right,
intended.
though, just to point out, right, that we're talking about, like, horseshit balance and stuff like that. Is
Daddy.
we very much take it for granted in this game. I'll be brutally honest. Like, there's definitely bullshit in this game, right? But
I don't think
the
so.
bullshit that was in the games before this.
I was about to say, bro's complaining about like getting grabbed at 100 and dying.
200, bro.
Yeah.
It was insane. You would just lose games off of like, they hit like a rage smash attack at 10%.
Yeah.
Oh,
Rage.
you tripped and then you got dash attacked by, you got up aired by Meta Knight, you're dead.
You tried to dash attack and the game decided that this one time you try to turn around, your character's gonna fall over just because.
The balance of Ultimate is actually insane once you realize how many characters are in the game. How many characters are truly unviable to the point where you should never play them, and
None
it's
of
one,
them.
and it's
Zero.
Ganon.
No,
I mean, you can still win sets on Ganon.
You can still win sets on Ganondorf.
there are
yeah.
Japanese
Shouldn't be.
Ganondorfs. There's the US one major. who
Exactly.
wins.
Like
Like,
the
he gets
But-
top 8s at like regionals and stuff.
The
which-
thing
Yeah,
is
but
that
the
there
thing
is-
is with Ganon, right, is that Ganon is purely carried by the fact that he can kill you early off of a smash attack or something like that. But the thing is, when you go to the other characters that are in like the worst character tier, even like Dr. Mario has recovery mix-ups and different combos he can do and different ways to kill you. Ganon is just literally one-note character and you play him that way. That's how that's what I mean by like, he's the only character that is truly one note and can't do anything else. Every other character has something they can do. Even Mac has air combos if you learn some weird like down tilt neutral air up B stuff, right? Like,
Yeah, the thing with these arguments though is like I think people forget at the end of the day we're playing other people. Like it's
Yeah.
It's like you can argue whatever towards perfection, like in
Oh no, 100%.
hypotheticals.
But like
it's just-
he's a super heavy, right? So like any super
Cannon's
heavy,
scary.
super
Cannon's
heavy,
scary.
any super heavy can like steal a win, right? Because that's kind of how they're designed. They're really heavy and they hit really hard.
Yeah.
That's literally how they're designed.
Playing
but the
against
thing
Ganon,
that-
there is no winning though. You're either expected to win because it's Ganon, or you lose and everyone laughs at you because you lost to Ganon.
Yeah,
Literally.
the thing is with
There's no
Ganon,
winning.
Like if I go to like a large like regional or whatever and a Ganon's at my round 1, I'm fucking terrified.
the thing is with Ganon, right, is like it was one of those things. Like the way for Ganon to win is that you just have to be better than your opponent in like every way. Like it's not a case of, oh, he's played Ganon, he's got a couple better tools. It's he outplayed me in multiple stages in the game, multiple times in the row to win this set.
Yeah.
I think I don't know. Like, okay, okay, this may be a hot take, but I mean, I don't know. I play like fundamental based characters, is what people would say. I think Marth is a cheeser, Lucina less so, but I don't know. I just think like I've had like obviously like getting to the point where I am now, where like I'd lose to people better than me, but they'd pick like Ganon on stuff like that, right? When I first started, it's like I don't know. You have an appreciation that I think being anyone in this game, you have to be like you have to have played better in some aspect.
Oh, 100%, 100%.
So,
but that's the thing is, just, I think it kind of comes down to the characters that me and Tom play as well, right? Like definitely, there's a bit of bias here, right? Young Link player and Belmont player, there should be no world where I lose to a Ganon unless I make many mistakes in a row, because he should never really get a chance to hit me.
Yeah.
It's kind of my mistake that he ever hit me ever.
and then like if you hit him, which obviously should be very easy, like he should never get off ledge, and if you hit him too far away, you can just go out and poke him and he dies.
Let's not twist it, right? When it comes to locals or small regionals, you can win on any fucking character in the game you want.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Like the skill rate of players is all over the place when you go to events that small. But like you're never going to go to like a 128 man event and then Ganon's going to be the one that wins it. It's
Well,
just,
that's not what we mean by
like the chances
viable,
of it
right?
happening.
Or at least that's not what I mean. When I say viable, I mean like you can win games on him. You can win sets on him.
That's funny you say that though, but like in Street Fighter, you can have in Street Fighter 4 some guy be playing Dan, the worst character in the game, and take sets off people. But he's not a viable character though, was he? Let's be real.
I don't know much enough. I mean, Melee is probably a better comparison, right? Like, where would you consider the line for viable to be in Melee? Would you say Bowser and Game & Watch are viable?
Game & Watch actually has some tools, so you can actually steal wins. Bowser has one move, which is up B out of shield and get up attack.
That's 2 moves.
Get up,
Checkmate.
yeah, okay, technically 2 moves.
So then you were just making the
character
argument
is
then.
truly the way for you to win on that character is just there is only one character in Melee that's unplayable, and it's Bowser.
I don't know. I think it all depends on what you. If you're going to win a regional, you could probably do that on any character if you wanted to.
In Smash Ultimate,
Not a
100%.
regional. In Smash Ultimate, if you're looking towards anything bigger than a regional, like you're talking about 128 man plus. I think it's really hard to win a 128 man plus with a mid tier in this game, like Lucas or even the Belmonts or like I don't know, Ken. Like those characters are so much better than Ganondorf, but they are nowhere near winning like majors or 128 mans. You know, consistently. If you wanted to go and win like, Coronation 7 with Ganondorf, you could do that. That's a realistic goal. Like
Aula's won Mania with K-Rool solo.
Yeah, exactly.
that is kind of true. But like, would you go and win Manchester Grand Conquest with Ganondorf? I don't think so. I think doing that.
Yeah, but then we're drawing the line at a certain point, right? Like, because that's no longer just Ganon. There's a line of characters that you're like at a certain point where like to win on these characters at this point is so highly unlikely.
I mean, that's why tiers exist, isn't it? Like,
yeah, exactly.
Top tiers. If you want to win majors or you want to be the best in the world, pick the top tiers, right? If you want to win but you don't like any of the top tiers, pick the high tiers, right? They're a little bit worse than the top tiers, but they're really good still. Like You could win with Terry, a high tier character. You could win with Samus. She's not
Yeah.
top tier. She's not the most optimal character to play. She is, but you could still win a giant tournament with Samus or Terry.
Yeah,
or...
I guess the issue is it depends on what your
What your definition
inner
of
thoughts
viable
of
is.
viable is.
Yeah.
Like when I say viable, I mean a character where if you played really well, you could win these bigger events. But I just don't feel like Ganon, Mac, and things like this are really going to win these better events, even if you're better.
Yeah,
It's weird though, because you said like that Ultimate's like the most balanced Smash game, but the only unviable character you said is Bowser. Well, there's one unviable character in, if there's one unviable character in Melee and one in Ultimate, then surely they're balanced the same.
Melee has a smaller cast. So
No, but the Melee's a
guess.
smaller cast, and there's one character completely unviable, and we mean like being able to win a local, right? You can win a local on Kirby, because Kirby's just worse Jigglypuff. You can still beat the heavies by cheesing them. There's still stuff there. Game & Watch has some moves that work. He weighs the same as Mario. Just hope you never have to shield.
I think the
but,
problem with Melee, sorry.
Go on, go ahead.
The problem with Melee is that like the characters are like coded badly.
Yes.
Which is why they don't work as well. So it's like the game fundamentally just doesn't work around these characters, which is why which is why the top tiers are the top tiers, because
they're coded very well. Yeah.
or like coded in a way that makes them broken. It's unlike Ultimate.
Viability between the two is very different things, right? It's just a case like, sure, you can in your local scene play whoever you find fun. There should never be a case where someone says you shouldn't play X character because bad, or you shouldn't play this. When you're playing the game, just play the character you find the most fun. And Ultimate is like the game where you kind of can just play whoever you want to play, and all the characters work. Like there's no like massive giant downside to playing. There are definitely downsides to some characters over others, but there's no downside to the point where it's like if you pick this character, you are just at a unbelievable disadvantage to the point where like you can't win. Like the chances of winning is that your opponent like SDs or something, right? Like that's Bowser in Melee, because he's just coded awfully.
I think in Ultimate, the further you go down, the more work you have to put in.
Yeah, 100%.
And like the more you're either relying on bracket luck or just sort of being better than your opponent. Like we see it with Kerbo, who plays Kirby, who's a bottom 10, bottom 15 character, but he makes that work.
Yeah, 100%.
And he does really, really well, because Kirby isn't as good as all the other characters like Pyra and Mithra, but he's still functional. Like he's still got some really, really strong tools. Like he's got some tools that aren't strong, like side B and up B and down B. Like his specials don't exist. But if he down tilts you at 60 and trips you and forward smashes and you die, that's a really good strength of his. He's really obnoxious up close. He's got like frame 2 jab. He's got really good aerials for like spacing. Everything combos into forward smashes is really strong. Down tilt trips. So like you've got a lot of tools on Kirby to make it work, and you can certainly make him work. But like it's not advised, because you could just go and play Cloud, who's 17 times easier and has a much better matchup spread, and you're not worried if you run into the sword main, because with some characters who are at the bottom, if you run into a character, you might as well just turn the game off. Like,
some characters have -2s and some don't, right?
Yeah, but every character can do really well in Ultimate. You've just got to put in more work and be better, which is the whole point of like tier lists, right? If you run into a -1 matchup, you've just got to play the game better than your opponent. It's not winnable. Same with -2s. You've just got to A, know the matchup better than them, and B, be the better player on the day.
Yeah, 100%.
Like there's no but the problem is with the longer brackets, like with the bigger majors, you stop running into people who aren't as good as you. Like if you're running into somebody at the top 64 who's a UK or an EUPR player, like if you run into your top 64 set and it's like Flo, You can't just be like, well, I'm just going to better play and then, because that doesn't work as consistently, because they're going to know they're really good players as well, and they might know the matchup.
But yeah, like
they might
it happens
not.
with everyone, right? Like even when we like talk about like the really good characters like Rob, right? How many times do you see Rob's Buster out because they play against Bayonetta and they just can't play the game? Like they just can't do anything. They like trying to SDI out of the combos is like pure luck because of the size of their character, and trying to like play neutral against them doesn't work, and they just keep getting killed off the top. Like we literally saw Invasion with Big Boss right against Bloom, and just kept getting destroyed off of one hit every single time. It doesn't matter if you know the SDI. It's just one of those matchups where you have to play 2 times better than the Bayonetta to be able to win the game on.
The better
on
players
Rob.
are also going to know how to play against your character's
Yeah,
weaknesses
exactly.
and
So
strengths
like it's
better
like I
as
said, the
well.
further down the list you go, the harder and harder and harder and harder you have to work, right? And that's why like sometimes you'll see these top players like I don't know to use Carbo as an example, but
Pelly
like
going from DDD to Sonic.
yeah, like Pelly going DD to Sonic, or like even I know
Cosmos
who's
going
the,
from
who's the
Inkling
American
to
Little
Aegis.
Mac?
Oh, Peanut.
Peanut. He's insane at Little Mac. He's so good at Little Mac. But he will sometimes just not even get to top 128 because he's playing Little Mac and he'll get cheesed 2 times and then he's out of the tournament. Like that's the kind of like he can make these upsets. He almost took a set off MK Leia, right? Like it's possible, but then the consistent way of making your way to these top 8s, when you can accidentally lose the game when you play these characters, right? When like, oh, I got touched in my up B and I didn't make the ledge at 20%, I lose. Right? That's kind of like the thing with like where we're getting at with like Ganon. He has like the most simple recovery, like you hit him slightly wrong and he's just dead and he can't do anything. But he still has some good tools. There's no characters with no good tools at all in this game, which is why Smash Ultimate has, you look at like top 8 graphics and the attendee graphics of all these tournaments, the character spread's insane. There's so many characters being played because you kind of can just play who you feel like.
Yeah.
And I think obviously as time goes on and metas shift and characters rise and some will eventually fall off. Like, you know, if we were to see an influx of Bayos and there were 20 Bayos at every tournament, the Robs probably might fall off because they'd be like, oh, I'm running into another Bayonetta. Or if there was suddenly an influx of duck hunts and, you know, like villagers, then Diddy would fall off because but like that doesn't happen. You know, it's as the current meta has got better and like Corrin is rising, you're seeing more Diddy Kongs because just how it happens that Diddy Kong's good into Corrin, who's now really really good. Or you know, there's
the head-to-heads definitely make a difference.
With the influx of Bayos, you know, Rob is falling, especially in the UK, because it's like if I'm like Regezo, for example, like him becoming number 1 in the UK is a really difficult task because he's at any tournament in the United Kingdom, he's got to beat Owl and Bloom to get first, unless by some miracle he like dodges both of them and Bloom doesn't make grand finals or Owl doesn't make grand finals. He has to play either one of those two to win the tournament. And also Lugi. I mean, I think Jezzo could do that. Like, obviously, the head-to-head's not great in his favor at the moment, but like that's the matchup.
The matchup is like definitely more doable.
Yeah,
than
the matchup he could overcome that with more practice, more time, etc., etc. But like having to play 2 Bayonettas to get to a first place finish, that's a very daunting task as a Rob in the United Kingdom. I mean, the Big Boss couldn't do it. Like Big Boss is 2nd in Mexico. He's top 50 in the world. He looked really lost against Bloom, and he was really struggling against Sonya.
Oh, that other Bayonetta, right?
The other Bayonetta who upset Octave and Gris. Like he took a game from him, and Big Boss kind of looked lost for the first 2 games. He sort of figured out, and that's where the player differential came in, right? Big Boss was just like game 3 and 4. He just kind of won. But like trying to win as Rob in the UK when you've got 2 of the top 4 players play Bayo, that is really hard. And like that's why we probably don't see a lot of Rob players around here, because it's like, well, I've got to have it. Either I've got to be insane on the 6 to beat somebody who's beaten the best Robs in the world over and over and over and over again, or I have to invest time in a secondary, and then invest so much time into that secondary that it's able to beat Blumenau, who at a moment's notice could be like, you know what, you beat my Bayo with your Diddy Kong? Okay, I'm just going to go Dark Pit, or I'll go Banjo, or I'll go whatever character I feel like that day. So that's the trouble with like playing a lot, like trying the same story with me, like Simon. I give up on that matchup. It took me a year to convince all the Belmonts in America that matchup was the worst. And they finally listened to me, and I was like, yeah, it's a terrible matchup. It's like our worst easily. So that's why I picked up a secondary character, because I do not see a world in where I could ever beat Owl or Bloom or even any competent Bayo with Simon, unless I'm just actually just player diffing them. Because I do it on Elite, I do it all the time. I'm like, damn, you lost Simon Bayo. To kind of like just reevaluate how you lost that, because I don't see how you do. But like, yeah, once you come up against those players, if your character is so bad into them, you've kind of got to take a step back and be like, do I persist with the Rob, or do I like look into another direction?
I think that only really matters at like the top level, though. Like we were
It's the
discussing
high. I'd say
before,
high
yeah.
to top level.
I
Like mid to low level, it doesn't really matter, right?
No.
And that's the thing. I don't want people to get this twisted because they're having a conversation about viable characters, non-viable characters, right? Some people have done this before so many times where they feel like because they play a low tier, they have to swap, they have to pick up a better character because they want to do X, Y, Z, etc., etc. Right? You don't have to do that unless your true goal at the end of the day is that you're going to get good enough to win like a major tournament. And the chances of you doing that, sorry to put a pin in anyone's dreams, is incredibly low. Okay?
It generally is just the 1%, isn't it?
You are the 1% of people if you win a major. You are like incredibly, incredibly good at the game. Time does not just instantly make up the fact that you'll be good enough to win these events. You need to be really good at VOD reviewing. You need to be very good at the game in general. You need to know how to practice, how to do all these things. There are so many prerequisites that you need to be good at as well as having talent initially to play the game.
There's also another thing you need as well. You need a lot of time. A lot of time. There's a reason that a lot of the people that come up in the scene are young, because they have a lot more time than we do. Because not only obviously do you have to, like, a lot of the time is going to be spent catching up to these people, let alone surpassing them. Like, these people have got thousands, if not tens of thousands of hours in this game. You are like at a couple hundred when you first start entering the competitive scene. So you've then got to catch up to those 10,000 hours and then keep going. Like, it's so hard.
Yeah, and then that's the thing, is like, you've got to evaluate the way you want to enjoy the game, right? And if you really want to push to be this really good player and you're fully motivated to just keep playing like this top tier character, and you're happy picking them, and you want to put all the time in, and you want to put the VOD review of the extra, go play the top tier character if that's the mindset, the way you go. But if picking up this top tier character is making you enjoy the game less, and you're just trying to win, right? Honestly, just go play your mid tier that you had loads of fun on playing the whole time, and just improve as much as you can on that character, because honestly, you can still get very, very far on that mid tier character before you start falling off to the issues, right? Like, we're talking like, you can still beat a top 30 player on your mid tier if you're really, 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 really good at that mid tier character, right? The only ones you're probably not going to beat is the top 10 players in the region, and then that's when they're just like, they're playing probably their top tier character as well, and they're insanely good at them, and they've got wins on the best players in Europe. There's a big wall to go before you need to worry about the character you pick. Ultimate isn't a game where it's like, you'll just do better if you pick a top tier. It's like, it's not like Melee where it's like, pick Fox, Marth, Falco, these 4 characters, these are better than all the others, right? Like, that doesn't happen in Ultimate. There is no like giant, massive wall of just cut off of better coded characters that have better moves, better everything, right? It's like every character functions in the game. I know some people are gonna be like, oh no, but my one move, sometimes people fall out of it. Well, you should see how moves used to operate back in the old games, okay? Because
I look at Pelly, man. He was number 1 on DDD for like all of Smash 4 and the start of Ultimate. Like,
He was top of Ultimate on DDD at the start.
yeah,
Purely because he was just better playing people on a low tier character.
Yep.
But then as the time went on, Pelly was like, yeah,
I can't do this anymore.
I can't consistently win on this low tier. I'm going to play Sonic instead.
exactly.
And now he plays Sonic all the time. And obviously he's not playing as often as he used to now. It's happening to a lot of people. It's been like 6 years or whatever since the game came out. But like, just play the character you enjoy. That's the way you should look at Ultimate. Like, you should not go into the game, go look at the tier list and go, this one's in the top 10. I'm picking this character. You like a character from a series, pick them up and play them. Yeah. You'll most likely do just as well as you would if you picked up that top tier at the start. I'll be honest.
You'll be more motivated.
And more motivated as well. Fun. That's the main thing.
Yeah, I mean, how many times have we seen like players who have gone from low tiers to top tiers, like really good players, and then just not make it as far? Like, you know, DeBuzz tried to pick up Steve, and it's like, but he's number 1 in the game, and you're like, oh, that's a Steve character, that's a DeBuzz character, sorry, and then he comes back after a month or 2, and he's like, just not having fun.
The motivation's not there because you don't like the character, right?
But then he'll go and play Rosalina, who's a mid tier, and then he'll be like, I love Rosalina, and his results are excellent because he grinds Rosalina because he's like, I love Rosalina. I will grind these matchups out and I will learn them better than the other people because that is where I am at. Like, and a lot of people do it. There are a lot of top players in the top 100 who play rubbishy characters.
We are very, very privileged in Ultimate, where you can kind of just pick anyone, play them, and you'll probably do fine.
This ain't no Third Strike, bro.
This ain't a game where, exactly.
There is 3 viable characters in Third Strike. 3. They are Ken, Chun-Li, and Yoon. That is it.
Yeah,
pick one of those 3 or don't play.
There is no like it depends. Like obviously, where I've played Ultimate so long, I say viable in like a different right.
Yeah.
But when we say viable in Ultimate, doesn't mean it's the same as viable as, like you said, in Third Strike, right?
Yeah.
Or in Melee. Like, just play whoever you want. You can probably win on whoever you want. It's more the case of if you pick, like, Ganondorf, for example. I know there's been a lot of good Ganondorf players that played the game for a long time, and they were getting top 8s at their locals, and winning regionals. But then they started going to bigger tournaments, and then after a while they were like, you know what? I want to get further in bracket now, and then they stopped playing that and picked up a better character than
All
Ganondorf,
I'm saying is Light lost grands to Ganon more than once.
Exactly. Well, but that was like 6 months ago. That does not count.
That set is... Oh, it's
that set is so funny.
So
well, that's
funny.
the thing, is like, it depends on like your goals as a player, right? If you just want to get better at the game, and you just want to have fun playing the game, pick any character. That's just how, and honestly, as much as people like cry and complain about it, it's not as much effort to pick up another character from your main than you think it is. Just because you lose for like 6 months while you learn this other character doesn't mean all the effort you've put in learning the game means nothing now because you've picked up a new character, right? Like, it's just painful. It's painful to swap, and I know it's painful to swap because I swapped between quite a few times. But like, after you've got past that initial like hump of learning your character's specific stuff, right, and specific combos and specific movement speed and specific like everything, which just comes with time of just playing your character. That's just playing the game. Doesn't have to be even in bracket. Just playing the game against your friends. You'll learn that, and then all that stuff you learn of neutral and ledge options and all this other stuff, funnily enough, didn't just disappear because you picked a different character. You still remember how to do all these things. You should still know how to bait options. You should know all these other things. You should know how all the other characters you've played before work. You've played these characters before. You didn't forget how these other characters worked. You just need to figure out how to pilot your character now. And like a lot of people did, like it's like you're saying about DeBuzz, Tom. Like he went from Olimar for most of the game, and then went to Rosalina. And like at first when he first went to Rosa, he was doing awful when he first swapped. His results went down, and everyone was clowning on him like, why would you go swap to Rosalina? Why would you swap to a lower tier character? And then now he like top 8 events on his mid tier Rosalina, right? Because it suits his playstyle and it suits the way he likes to play the game.
He does so much better on Rosalina, his in my opinion soul main, than he does on Olimar, who's statistically a better character. Like there are so many, like Shoot On wins events solo Olimar, he can do that all day. But to Buzz, it just never clicked for him. Like it worked at the beginning of the game, and then as time's gone on. Sorry, his results with Olimar have just steadily gone down and down. And then he picked up Rosalina, and his results have steadily gone up and up and up.
And it's just, I remember we had this conversation, didn't we, Tom? It was like the other way around, where it was sometimes swapping to a top tier won't make you win more.
Cosmos.
Like just swapping to a top tier doesn't mean you'll start winning. It doesn't. Like even if you put all the time into the top tier and you spend a year playing it, doesn't mean your results will get better. It doesn't. It's not as simple as that.
Cosmos tried to swap from Inkling to Aegis, and now he's right back on Inkling again because his results got worse, if anything, than better. Because he just doesn't mesh with the character that well. I think he swaps between them at the moment, but I don't follow the scene that much. But
On Inkling in like years, to be honest with you.
no, there was a brief period where he tried Inkling again.
Back, and I remember him and EE were having some bet about him getting top 8 at events.
Yeah, because it was on the podcast. I was listening to it. I don't know if he swapped back to Aegis again now, but I know he did try Inkling again for a bit.
I know he swapped from Aegis to Joker for a little bit, and then also tried.
That's the Inkling pipeline.
then went back to Inkling because Light convinced him to main Inkling in Corrin.
Yeah.
This was before Shattuck.
That is true. That should do that.
This was before Shattuck like popping off, and then he was like, "Nah, my friends are stupid. I'm gonna main Aegis." But we should. What's interesting is like what draws people to the characters, like that they play. Like for me, I main Marth because the reason I play Smash is from the Melee documentary, and I saw Ken and he was so good. He had like a combo named after him, which is like, how raw is that? Like you're so good. People see a clip of you and like, oh, that's Ken. Like you don't need to have player tags. Nothing. You see him do something, you're like, yeah, I know who that player is.
That's the Ken combo. Even if you don't even know who Ken is, you know that's the Ken combo, right?
Yeah, so I was like, Marth was cool, I'm gonna play Marth, and that's why. And they also helped because, like, just Tipper sound effects sound so good in this game.
Yeah.
Oh, they do.
Tipper sound effects in Melee are so crisp. Just it sounds like,
in Melee
so
Adult, they're very crisp sounds. I do like the sound of the ultimate.
They're kind of
so
ass in
crunchy.
4, if I remember rightly.
Yeah. In Ultimate, they sound like painful, like as if they sound like with a bang. But like with others, like I had a friend of mine who said he only considers characters whose series he's played. So like
I do that quite a lot.
Yeah, so I had a friend from like he was studying at my uni because he was from Japan. I don't know where he is now, but he played Snake because he loved Metal Gear Solid, but he only picked up like he would never play like Cloud, but he said, "Oh, I started playing Final Fantasy, so now he'll play Cloud in Smash because he likes the game," which was like I was like, "Wow."
Oh, is that I can't remember his name. Ray.
Yeah.
I
miss him.
I knew who you were on about immediately when you said Japanese Snake. Ray. Yeah.
I miss him. I don't know where he is. Me and him used to do friendlies all the time, but last I heard he moved to London. I think he went to a few tournaments, but then I don't think he's gone to much since.
For me, it's a bit of a weird one. So I'm a huge Diddy Kong fan. So even though I didn't play the character normal because how bad he was, but I first started playing Diddy because I rolled him on random in Brawl. So I used to play Lucas in Brawl like really casually, and then when Smash 4 got announced, Lucas wasn't in it. So I was like, okay, I need to find a character that I want to play that's going to be in Smash 4. And I was just rolling random until I found someone else I liked, and I eventually rolled Diddy Kong. I was like, damn, this character's so fun. With like the bananas and the peanut pop gun and stuff. So I played Diddy Kong all of Smash 4, and then I played him in Ultimate, and he was just terrible on release. The character was so bad. I went to one major tournament with him, which was Wave Smash Ultimate. It wasn't even called the first one, and just I think I went 1-2 or 2-2 or something, and he was just so bad, man. Like, you could fully charge his recovery, and you wouldn't even get, like, out of the magnifying glass zone. That's how bad it was. Yeah, the longer you charged your up B, the more height you lost, and you wouldn't gain that height back. It was terrible. Like, yeah, anyway. So I stopped playing him, And I was kind of in a character crisis for a long time. Like, I played Young Link because I really like Ocarina of Time. Didn't really mesh with him too well. Played him for a few months, and eventually settled on Inkling, just because mostly because of like the way the character plays more so than the series, and probably a big reason why I never really took Ultimate that seriously is because I just didn't like the character I played that much. Like, I like the play style. Like, I'm a very fundamentals based player. Like, in a lot of neutral game, back air spam, that kind of thing. I don't really use many of Inkling's really tricky combos or like Nair 1 up smash or any of that fancy stuff. And I think a big reason why I didn't play the game that seriously is just because I didn't gel with the character that well. So I think the character that you pick, like we've been saying, is very important to how you play the game.
Yeah.
I do think that's a bit of recency bias on your side that you say you didn't take the game seriously just because you've been taking Street Fighter seriously at the moment. You definitely used to take the game.
I used to, yeah, but it was only for like a year out of the 5 years I've been playing the game.
But that was due to personal circumstances more than
but
actually not enjoying the game.
Bit of both.
Because
Oh, sorry. Go on.
I was gonna say, like, pre the personal circumstances, this man was grinding just as much as I was. So
that's up for debate.
yeah, go on, Dante.
I was gonna say, do you think like the iconicness of a character is what draws people to them, or the gameplay? Like, because for me it was just the fact that like I saw the documentary and I thought Martha was cool. But like, do you think people like Joker because they haven't played Persona, but like he's like fun to move around with and stuff like that, or because they've played Persona they play Joker?
Actually, this will come pretty well into my character pick here because this is funny.
Okay.
So when I picked up the game, I played Donkey Kong because I played Donkey Kong Smash 4, and the history of me playing Donkey Kong and Smash 4 was because I hated Smash 4. Like, actually, like, Dom knows, I actually hated that game.
I think a lot of...
He used to pick Donkey Kong out of spite.
To spite pick Donkey Kong and knock Cloud players out by cheesing them with rage ding-dongs and getting them mad at the game because it made me feel better because they were playing the game. I was that petty, how much I hated that game. I was just playing this character to show how shit this game was because I could steal games even though I don't know how to play neutral. Because I would just get a kit, grab it, rage percent and win. I was just like, that's how much I disliked that game. But when Ultimate came out, Donkey Kong was more of an actual character in this game. Like, obviously, I know he's still got the grab cheese stuff, but like, he actually has other stuff now. You could do like dash attacks and back airs, and then he's got like the aerial down B, and like, he actually has tools now. He's not just grab the character. Like, that is definitely he is a grappler, right? But it's not his only niche as a character. Like, you've still got other tools now. And like, they gave him a bunch of air speed and other things, and he felt fun to move around, and so I played him first. But then, like, over time, playing Donkey Kong, I kind of got like, it's funny to say, I didn't like how like one or two note he would, because your goal on Donkey Kong is kind of to do the same thing every game. You want to end the stock early, you want to play neutral in a certain way. You've got to remember this was like a year into the game, so like the depth of the character was very early days, and I was like, I don't enjoy this. There's not a lot of options. So, funnily enough, I don't think Don will remember this. I thought Young Link was a very good character, but just was underdeveloped at the start of the game, right? Because a lot of people were like, oh, he has loads of good frame data, but then everyone was pitting him like mid-tier. And I was like, I don't believe this character's a mid-tier character. And I remember me and Dom arguing back and forth about how worth the character was in that. Oh, the combos are too hard to learn and stuff like this, and then again, because I'm a petty person, I sat down and learned all the combos to show him that they aren't that hard. Because I'm petty. But then, I did the exact same thing Dom did, and I was like, this character's not worth it. I'm not playing him anymore after Albion 4, because I got like knocked out, funnily enough, by Ganondorf. And I was like, nah, I'm not playing this character, it's not worth it. I've got to do all these hard combos and everything. He doesn't kill early enough, I'm not playing him anymore. So then I went to Pokemon Trainer. But the thing is, Young Link was the character I had fun on, right? I was never really much of a Zelda player, right? I'd played Ocarina of Time, but like, it's not like a game I go, oh, this is one of my childhood favorite games, I'm playing this forever. I didn't play Ocarina of Time until I was like 16, right? Like, I played the game through, I enjoyed it, but it's not some like giant childhood memory that everybody else has on the character. So I dropped him, and then I went to play Pokemon Trainer instead. And I played, and my results didn't really change. I still like placed the same I did when I played Young Link at the time. But like I was playing Pokemon Trainer, and it was more of a case of just like the longer I went on, the more bored I got of the game. Like I don't know how to point it out. Like the character bored me. I got like very bored.
They're kind of linear if you think about it.
And I was like, and I was still going to all the locals because I like seeing everyone. Going there every week with Woo, we're still seeing everyone was fun. But I was getting more and more bored playing my character. And then the buffs for Young Link got announced, where they made his up air kill earlier, his up smash kill earlier. They made his Zair actually usable, and like they did a bunch of like just massive quality of life changing fixes for the character. So like all those high damage combos actually have a finisher now. Like you have something to finish the combos with, because like before it was like you wouldn't end a combo with up air to kill them off the top. You would try forward air them because they would die off the top earlier from forward air than they would up air, because up air was just so weak. It was so stupid. And then I rolled him, played him in the weekly, and then I just really like knuckled down on all like the intricate combo game and all the different routes the character has. He's very unique to himself. He has all these other things, which comes with its own caveats. I am absolutely terrible at this game when it comes to playing anything else. My fundamentals do not exist. You chuck me on some other character, I have no... You're some guy see me play Young Link and do this whole combo, like, wow, you must have like so much like ability to move. Nope, I can do these combos. Chuck me on a random Fundies character and you'll see me look like some random O2 that's never touched a controller before sometimes. I don't know how to play other characters. But my draw to Young Link is the unique combo style he has to himself that makes him fun and intricate. Like, I don't have to finish a combo the same way. There's different routes, there's different ways to end combos, there's different ways to play in neutral, there's different ways to do this. Which comes to a more of a problem me as a player where I overwhelm myself and then lose when I shouldn't. I lose myself, as QualiT says a lot. I literally lose the game myself. But like that's the thing, is I think there are characters like Young Link that people pick up where like this specific character itches the scratch that they need to enjoy the game. Like they find that character and like, this is Smash Ultimate for me. This is the game. Like there's 80 characters or 90. How many characters are in the game? 90 characters in the game. But I only like this character. I don't care about the other characters. Like they can mess around in friendlies on the other character, but then you'll see them in the corner playing this one character for 6 hours on an event every day. They go home, they play the same character for 6 hours. They go online, play the same character for 6 hours. They don't care about memeing, don't care about items. They just want to play this one character 6 hours a day every day, and they love this character. This character is the reason why they play the game. And some people definitely have those characters. But then I do think there are characters, like you said, like I know quite a few people like, oh, I don't want to play a character I don't know. I'm playing this guy because I know. And that's what was with me. When I first played Smash, when I played Project M with Woo here, I played Sonic. Sonic's like one of my favorite franchises of all time. I had to play Sonic. I didn't care what kind of characters it was. I had to learn how to play Sonic. But then obviously Project M had a very like specialized Sonic that was like, wasn't just spin dash and all these combos. He had this whole very special remade combo game for that game because it was meant to be more like Melee, right? So when Smash 4 came out and he played nothing like that, I just refused to play him.
He was a bait and punish character in PM, for those that don't know. He played very much like Fox. Very much like Fox. His forward there was a spike too.
What about you, Tom? Well, we've heard the reason Dante plays his character, we've heard the reason why Wu plays his character, why I play my character. Why do you play Simon and Rick? Well, you don't play Rick the Belmont, but why do you play the Belmont?
Because he likes Castlevania.
Do you know, I'd never played Castlevania before. I knew who Simon Belmont was only because when in Smash 4, when they would play tournaments, the casters, if you ran off and used Zero Suit Samus to kill, that would be called the Simon Belmont.
Oh, wow.
Obviously the Zare, and the casters would be, yo, the Simon Belmont, because Zero Suit Samus Zare is so long.
I didn't actually know that. That's something I've learned today.
Yeah, they would call it the Simon Belmont, you know, EE and Coney and all that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I had no idea who he was, and I watched his reveal trailer, and I was like, still don't know who you are. But like, I've played every Smash game since 64. I'm just that old. And I think I only started playing like, because I never played competitively until Smash Ultimate. But I'm a huge Pikmin fan. I have played every Pikmin game. I've even played Hey Pikmin, and if you know anything about that game, it's terrible. But I still played it. I play Pikmin Bloom daily. That's how dedicated to a Pikmin fan I am. I loved Pikmin. So obviously when he was in Brawl, I picked him there. I played him in Smash 4. I was also a huge Ike fan because I liked Fire Emblem Radiant Dawn and Path of Radiance. So those were huge. Um, but in Smash 4, oddly enough, I didn't play either of them. I played Game & Watch and Charizard. I don't know. But I just didn't click with any characters in Smash 4. Like I played it obviously throughout the thing on For Glory. I just kind of messed around with every character, and then I think I just settled into the fact that I liked zoners. Like everybody doing all these high damage things. My hands aren't good enough to play Sheik. My 31-year-old hands, man. Like if you know, you know. Like there's no way I'm doing like these tight combo strings. I just want a low APM character who just hit them. And I started playing Ultimate. I played Pokemon Trainer, I played Corrin, and I played Olimar as a secondary. And then, but yeah, like I couldn't do Squirtle combos, and apparently they're like really easy, but I just couldn't do them. Like the whirlpool loops with the down throw, down air, which was meta relevant in 2020. Just couldn't do them.
Funny
Like
they don't actually do that anymore. They just do up throw instead. But
yeah,
funny.
I was gonna say I haven't seen a PT do it in a while, but they were all the rage back then. And I couldn't do them, and then I even messed up down throw up B from Ivysaur.
Oof.
That's how terrible I was at comboing. I couldn't do down throw up B, and that was like free at 80%. You couldn't miss. Like you couldn't miss those things. And then I kept losing as Corrin online, and I hated Corrin because I really like Fates. I really like Fire Emblem just as a series. And I remember I was playing online one day, and I found this Richter, and he kept down air up being me because it's 2019. Go for it. And I just kept getting hit by it. I was like, damn, that's a nice kill confirm. I could use that. And then I just started playing them just randomly. I was like, yeah, I'll give these guys a go. Bear in mind, this was about 7 or 8 months, and I hadn't watched any competitive Smash. I was watching like there weren't any competitive Belmonts. Put it that way. It was mostly like Snakes and Olimars and your usual Leo and Void at that time. So I was like, yeah, I'll give this character a go. I was like, yo, this is really fun. They're a zoner. I was happy about that. And then I don't know, I just really liked playing them. I was really happy. And then I wanted to learn more about the character. And then the more I played them, the happier I got. Really, I was like, I'm quite happy with how this is going. You know, back in the day, nobody knew how to do SDI, so like Holy Water F Smash was GG's. People would just get up into it. Like I remember my first local, people just got up into it, and I kept forward smashing them at 50 and killing them, and I was like, character's so broken.
Yeah, I never got hit by that at your first local ever, right, Tom?
Yeah, not can't believe.
No, not me. No, never. No.
Nah, send me back in time to like owl SDI out of his Holy War and make him quit competitive Smash.
Everybody does that now. But like even back then, like I still played Olimar. I loved watching Myron play. So aggressive, he was so fun to watch. And obviously combined with my love of Pikmin, I just kept playing it. So yeah, and that's been it. That's stuck ever since. So yeah, I just enjoy playing zoners, and those two just filled the competitive void for me. And I can still play other characters. I can play a lot of the cast to a decent degree. Nothing amazing. I just like having fun. But yeah.
Before we
Unlike
get
me,
off
I
of
have no
this,
fundies.
Yeah. I play Marth and Lucida, but if you put me on any other character, I'm actually god awful. I'm actually so terrible. Like I think I'm just carried by something. I don't know, their frame data, I guess. But yeah, it just whenever somebody asks me like, "Oh, you play a fundies character," I always tell them this game has a lot of just like minutia. I feel like it just it's like, you know, just adjusting to characters like dash speeds and fall speeds and stuff. It feels like you feel like you're in a different world. Like especially someone who is like relatively new to Smash compared to a lot of other people. It's like when you're playing a different character, it feels like so different.
Praise the universal frame-free jump squat.
Yeah, thank
Yeah.
goodness.
Or everyone used to have different jump squats, and it used to be painful. You'd like go pick a super heavy, and you have a frame 6 jump squat, and you feel like you were stuck to the floor.
Yeah. I'm aware that we are at like almost 3 hours at the moment, so it might be a good time to call.
Yeah, before we end off, I do just want to say that like I think Smash is very good at introducing people to new franchises as well. I speak from first-hand experience because like I had no idea who Joker was. Like I didn't even watch his announcement trailer. I saw like the thumbnail. I was like, Joker announced for Smash. Don't care. Don't know who that is, and like moved on. And I remember because obviously we were hosting the local back then. We did like a Joker only tournament on like his first week of release. I won the whole tournament. Only local I'd ever won that whole year, by the way. And I came up to one of my friends afterwards and was like, so, like, do you even know who this Joker character is? Like, I don't even know what game they're from. And they were like, oh, yeah, no, they're from, like, this Persona game on the PlayStation. Like, it's really good. You should give it a go. Because they knew I liked Pokemon, and it's kind of a very similar thing. If you've ever played both of those games. They're like, yeah, you should give it a go. I've got the game. You can borrow it if you want. I was like, yeah, I'll give it a go. And it's now my favourite game of all time. So, yeah, that's another thing that's really good about Smash compared to other fighting games is it can just introduce you to games you've literally never played before. Same like Final Fantasy VII, never played that before, and now it's again one of my favorite games of all time. So it's great.
I've since played Castlevania.
There you go.
I downloaded the anniversary, and yeah, I really like it. But obviously, those games are like 40 years old.
They are very old. You can feel the age in those games.
Yeah.
All
And
I'm
they
hearing is that the Inkling to Joker pipeline is real.
It is a real thing. I promise you, Inkling to Joker or Aegis, if you like look at past Inkling characters, it's a very real thing.
Zoroya did it. Zoroya's Inkling main.
I tried and failed. I do not have the hands to play Joker consistently. The character is mad hard.
But I think we'll sign off there. Otherwise, we'll be at this for another 3 hours. I definitely have work tomorrow. But yes, thank you very much, everybody, for listening this far. I mean, I think we'll probably chop.
This will be a two-parter, I promise you.
Yeah.
So thank you if you watched both parts.
Yes. But yes, thank you very much for listening, and thank you, Dante, for coming along. Have you got any final words that you'd like to say before we go?
Just thank you for having me. It's had a really good time.
It's a pleasure being on.
Yeah,
Pleasure.
it's been really fun. But yeah, watch the breakout streams, I guess. And
Yes.
every Thursday.
Sign up
Thursday.
to Regen 2024.
Sign up to Regen. Pay your TOs. No, I'm joking.
Fiverr
yeah,
at the door.
No, it's been great. I've loved talking Smash. I've loved just talking to you guys, sharing some anecdotes here and there. But yeah, it's been great.
Thank you very much for coming out. Any final words before we go, Boo?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be much of the same of what I said last time, but yeah, I stream on Twitch semi-regularly. I stream like Street Fighter tournament runs, JRPGs. I'm playing Baldur's Gate with Virus at the moment. Yeah, check out my socials, all that good stuff. Yeah, come to Mania when we next host it.
Thank you. And any words before you go, Toku?
Unlike Woo, I don't do anything. But you might see me at a Smash event, because I do go to Smash events. So, if you see me, feel free to say hello, whatever.
And as always, thank you very much for listening. And have a good evening or day. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, guys.